So there's this Bible story that I've never heard of before that's in every single Bible. And I want to relate it to you real quick. It's in John chapter 8, verse 1 through 12. I won't read the whole thing because I'm not trying to make this a preaching channel. But it says, they went to each one of his own house, but Jesus went to the Mount of Olives. Early in the morning he came again to the temple, and the people came to him, and he sat down and taught them. The scribes and the Pharisees brought a woman who had been caught in adultery, and placing her in the midst, and they said to him, "Teacher, this woman has been caught in the act of adultery. Now in the law Moses commanded us to stone this woman. So what do you say?" This they said to test him, that they might have some charge to bring against him. Jesus bent down and wrote with his fingers on the ground. And as they continued to ask him, he stood up and said to them, "Let him who is without sin, you be the first one to throw a stone at her." So then he lets her go. Now, look that scripture up in the gray Bible that the Jehovah's Witnesses have. It's not in there at all. That story is completely gone. Now, I've looked up at least 5 or 6 other Bibles, and that story is in there. But in the gray Bible, it starts, if you go to John chapter 8, it starts at verse 12. It even says 12. The story is completely gone. Well, why? Well, there's a lot of reasons why. Well, first of all, for years and years, the Jehovah's Witnesses have been disfellowshipping people for adultery, right? And fornication and everything else. Well, what did Jesus do here? Jesus said, "Look, you guys are sinners. Whoever here isn't a sinner, you get to stone her. You be the first one to stone her." And they got the message, right? And then later in the scriptures, he told the woman to go on and to not sin anymore. But he didn't shun her or disfellowship her or anything. He didn't even let the Pharisees punish her. So, of course, this goes totally against the narrative of the Jehovah's Witnesses, where they will excommunicate you and tell you that you are no longer a Jehovah's Witness if you were to do something like that. Now, of course, adultery is not good. I'm not defending that at all. But the point is that if we're supposed to follow Jesus' example, what did he do there in that scripture?